This week on What Do You Got? Is college worth it? Stay
No.
tuned.
No, it's not.
You're listening to Bro Down Podcast all fucking day. Oh, yeah.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Bro Down Podcast. I'm Andy Smith.
And I'm Tim Fulton.
And this is What Do You Got?
What do you got?
What do you got? We just come up with a random topic and we just bullshit about it. This is Tim's episode. Tim, what do you got?
Is college worth it
No.
in the literal financial sense?
No. Thanks for tuning in. Goodbye.
So, I'm probably going to have the same complaint that a lot of people out there have. And I really feel like it started with our generation where college got out of control
Yes.
financially.
Yeah.
I don't know. And there's like a lot of like variables thrown in here. Like, how do you make money if you don't go to college? This, that, the other thing. But it seems like to me, it's become less about educating the future generations and more about older people saying, how can we tap them dry of things they don't already have?
Yeah. So let's talk about this.
Let's talk
about it. So first of all, I have no idea what I'm talking about, but I'm going to act like I do.
Fair enough.
So just that's the precursor, the preface to this whole thing. I think I remember reading or hearing or looking at a YouTube video at 2 a.m. about when college got really expensive was right after they started giving government loans
Yeah.
to kids.
Yes.
And my bro brain is telling me that the reason why is because you can't default on those loans, and it basically gave colleges the ability to charge whatever they wanted.
Well, it makes sense because if you have a bunch of people who can afford to pay $1,000 a year to go to college, you need people to fill those seats. To be successful, if you're looking at it from a business point of view,
Yeah.
you need to fill those seats. So you're going to charge roughly $1,000 a year for people to go to class and do all that other bullshit. But if all of a sudden these people can get loans out, then you can start to charge $10,000 because now they can afford to by pulling from a head, which is not part of the problem. It is the problem.
Yeah.
So colleges scaled up so insanely much that it just sounds not fair. You know what I mean?
It isn't. And you know what's it's very frustrating because it would almost be semi-understandable if the facilities and the education you were getting increased to the price that you're getting charged, but it doesn't.
No.
It doesn't at all. Like, they increased everything and you get nothing new. There's no new, like, way to give you information. Like, it's just all the same shit. They're just charging you more money.
Even during this pandemic, I've been tutoring this one girl, and all of her classes are online, which makes sense. It's a pandemic. You have to stay
Yes.
home. But there's no difference price-wise.
No.
Like, they have all these facilities that aren't being used. You physically don't go to them. It's professors basically, not all professors are the same, but they're regurgitating the same thing over and over again. Some of them are just playing YouTube videos of themselves at this point.
Yeah.
They record themselves once, hit play, and
Yeah.
then sit back with a cup of coffee and say, watch that.
Which is, it's really, it's hard too, right? Because it's this scenario where there's nobody to complain to.
Yeah.
You don't have a recourse to, you can go to another college, but you're getting the same thing. It's like they all kind of agreed on the same, like, let's just do this, and that's what we're going to do. And like you said, the level of education is almost plummeted because of COVID, and understandable, but at the same time, kids aren't going there. They're not using the facilities. You don't have to turn all of the heat, the lights. You have to pay for people to fucking clean the buildings out and all this shit. So, and that was all like tied into your tuition. But now that you're going online, and they're going to say, oh, well, you know, they had the capability to do that beforehand.
They did.
Maybe not on this scale, but they had the capability to do it.
Yeah.
And the other thing too, student loans. Let's talk about student loans. So
There's a reason why I brought this up.
I know. So that right off the bat, the price of tuition is insane. It's borderline insane. You can't pay for college with a part-time job. Like you have to take out a loan
Unless
you have rich parents or you have some other means of falling upon a lot of money. You're not going to be able to find the money for
You're
college.
borrowing against your future self.
Yeah.
And you're praying it works out.
Yes. And
because I know where you're about to go with this, but real quick sideline to it is that, like, a lot of times I see people, not everyone makes it through college, which is unfortunate.
Yes.
But there are people out there who will get halfway, 3/4 of the way, and then they just don't finish that hurdle.
Yeah.
And those first 3/4 of the way mean bullshit. It's nothing. Nothing in the light of the public eye. So you get nothing out of all that money you put out. Or even like people who do cross the finish line turn around and say, you know what? I spent the past 4 years of my life learning biology, and I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah. I get torn between the college and the system is kind of shitty, right? Because you get out of high school, they tell you, like, as far as our generation was concerned, I would say us plus or minus 7 years.
Yeah.
We were basically, and everyone before us, we were sold the bill of goods of, all you need to do is get a college degree. That quote, that piece of paper is everything. Like that is going to get you any job you want.
Yes.
Basically, like, where's my corner office? On the
my
first
house,
day.
I got my picket fence.
Exactly.
I get all that good stuff because I have this piece of paper.
Exactly. And during the time when we were going to school, they started having all those programs where it was like the No Kid Left Behind program and all this shit, which is, on paper, it sounds fantastic, but what ends up happening is you're not increasing the education.
No.
You can't fund people less and expect a better product. So teachers just push kids through the system because if they don't, they get fired.
Yeah.
So now they make it accessible for everyone to go to college, which is fantastic, but they want the money.
Yeah.
So they don't care if you're not qualified in a sense where they have a good feeling that you're going to do well at the school. They'll just take your money.
Yeah.
Like, give us your money. And if you drop out in 2 years, perfect. Like, we don't care.
Yeah.
We don't care if you drop out.
You're 100% accurate. It's like the initial reason for colleges has completely been left behind.
It is now the GED of our parents' generation.
Yeah.
It is like when our parents' age, like people that were over the age of 55, I would say, if you graduated high school and you got a GED or you got your high school diploma, it was like that was actually worth something on a resume when they were our age. Like, it kind of was. As crazy as that sounds today, it was. Like, that was a question that people would ask you in a job interview. But now, and if you had college back then, like, forget it.
Yeah.
It's like you had, the opportunities were so
Abundant.
much more. Now, it's looked at like, you have a college degree. Okay, how many? And do you have a master's?
That's
like you're the starting, most jobs today that like are sought after jobs. I mean, I'm not talking about like union construction jobs because those are very good jobs too. And there's a lot of jobs that you don't need college for that are actually like decently high paying and you just have to bust your ass. Like, they're hard jobs. So you got to work at them. But jobs that require college education, it's like the minimum requirement is like you have to have a bachelor's and then X amount of years experience.
Yeah.
Like, it's now both. It used to be just the degree, but now it's like you have to have the degree and you have to have experience, which means when you get out of college, you basically have to work for free, basically, or a job that, or a pay that you would get without the degree to get the experience to then get what you want. But back to what you were saying with like, you study biology for 5 years and you don't know what you want to do. It's kind of fucked because you get out of high school. A lot of kids don't work in high school.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of kids do, but a lot of kids don't.
Yeah.
And they don't really know what they want to do or what they don't want to do. And then on top of that, they get to college, they're spending exorbitant amounts of money, like crazy amounts of money that they don't really, a lot of kids I don't think really understand how much money they're spending.
Yeah.
Because either their parents set up the loans or they're just told like, hey, go to school, your job is to go to school. But when you get out of school and then you're like, oh, I'm going to take 2 years to fucking find myself or whatever. It's like, dude, you got a $500 a month bill starting. That doesn't go away. And then you might find out halfway through college that you fucking hate microbiology or there's no jobs in microbiology.
Yeah.
Like, it happened.
That's the other thing.
Yeah, like when I originally went to the college that I went to for architecture, I thought I wanted to do that. And then I found out that's not what I wanted to do, right? And also, too, part of the main reason was that everyone that had gone to architecture program before me, like they would stop at the school and like even the professors, they were like, you work as basically somebody who doesn't need a college degree for like 10 years before you're allowed a position of like, now you can use your degree to get this position.
Yep.
And I was like, well, that's not why I'm going here.
And it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. So, like, it forced me to change my major to a major that had 100% job placement. Because nobody I knew, and this was like degrees that are like, you would think that have like sought after potential, like engineers. And they're like, I can't find a degree anywhere, or I can't find a job anywhere.
Yeah.
So you're kind of fucked. And then now, with everything going on, like, since COVID hit, they put a hold on all student loans.
Okay.
So do you know about that, right?
I didn't.
So what they did was, if you have student loans, they freeze the interest and they freeze your payments.
Okay.
So basically, like, you just get a grace period. Like, everyone's on a grace period. You don't have to pay. You don't have to do anything like that until it re-ups again. So you're not accruing any more interest, nothing like that. So going in to apply for a student loan, when we were college age, it was very high when we were in college.
It was.
Like, very high. Like, people were like, dude, holy shit. Like 6.5%, 7% was like, what? I just went on to get it back, and now it's the starting rate for most places for a student loan for college starts at 9% if you don't have a cosigner.
That is obscene.
So I have a full-time job, right? I make decent money. I have very little debt, if any. Like, my student loans are some of my only debt, but I planned it that way, right?
Yes.
My credit is pretty fucking good because I never miss payments on my credit cards. They're still like, yeah, it's 9%. It's 10.5%. Like, you're not even getting the 9, you're getting 10.5. But here's the kicker. When you fill out the application, you basically have to apply like you're getting out of high school.
Yeah.
Like, you don't enter your age, I don't believe. You basically just enter pedigree information, including like your salary and all that stuff. And even with all that, they're like, oh, wow, an 18-year-old kid is making X amount of money, has a full-time job. He's asking for loans for one class, this, that, and the other thing. His chances of paying us back, bare minimum, 10.5%. If you get a cosigner, it can be as low as 3.5.
Oh, wow.
But that's because they're roping somebody else in for the money.
The roping. Yeah, exactly.
And my thought is that these fuckers are so greedy that because right now nobody's paying student loans, they're trying to make up for this on the back end.
Oh, 100%.
By putting all this high interest in the front from everyone taking out loans right now. Because people still have to go to college.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No one's going to stop going to college.
It's not going to suddenly just end.
Yeah,
like
so you don't have a choice.
That 9.5%, that 10.5% over a course of a loan, depending on how long it is, could end up doubling it. So if you take out, for every $1,000 you take out, you're going to be paying back $2,000.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous, especially if you end up going to a 4-year college that costs $30,000 a year.
Yeah. That
means instead of $120,000 over the course of a loan, over the course of 4 years, you're talking about $240,000. So that's a nice house.
Yeah.
A nice house.
Yeah. And it almost
it's ridiculous.
Like now,
and it would be a mortgage payment.
Yeah, nowadays it's a lot of the times that, unless it's a passion of yours that you need to get the degree for, and that's your lifelong goal to do that. If you're just doing it for a job, I mean, job security is one thing, because usually like jobs that require college degrees probably a little bit more secure. But then again, like, you could go and be a union laborer.
Yeah.
And you would make up more money, and it would probably take you might even never go past that, because you still have to pay back your loans.
Yeah.
Like, you might never even surpass that. And I don't know why people look down on those jobs, like college kids like look down on like manual labor jobs. It's fucking dumb. because you're busting your ass going to college and this dude's putting in his second jacuzzi.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like, it is dumb. Like, that was another thing. Like, it was kind of like when we were in school and we were going to college and everything like that. Those kind of jobs were like looked down upon.
They were looked down upon, which is funny because like
That was the sense of like the faculty. I mean, like
it was not like oh, you have that job, I look down upon you. But
no, to aspire to do that was looked down upon.
Yeah, it's like I will do whatever I humanly can to not have to do that.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that it's a good job, it has good benefits.
Yeah.
All that other good stuff.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I really hope they start pushing people towards is trade schools as opposed to, or like basic internships when you're a kid. Instead of being 18 years old and like immediately being shipped off to college and incurring like these astronomical amounts of debt, go work underneath an electrician for 2 years, make minimum wage. And you know what?
Yeah.
On the other side of it, understand how to be an electrician. Instead of accruing $60,000 of debt, make the $20,000 or the $40,000 you would have made, and now begin a career. Begin like actually understanding and like.
Yeah, there's this weird thing where when you're in high school, you think that you go to college and learn your job or learn your life's pursuit at college, but you don't.
Yeah.
You basically get like a field manual that tells you like basic skills that you'll need to do that job, but you don't ever learn a job until you do the job. You don't.
Yeah.
You can take all the classes that you want. Like you can read all the books in the world about how to bowl or how to shoot darts. You'll never know how to do it unless you do it.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
You know, like you have to physically do that. And knowing a trade or learning a trade, but that's the other flip side too, is that there is a glass ceiling on that because you do get to a point where you do need some piece of paper that says you're qualified to do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, we can get into an argument about like how good those papers are and whatnot.
I don't think a lot of them are worth anything, but
Yeah.
on paper for the company to allow you to do that, they need to cover their ass with insurance. Like for my job or for a lot of jobs, like you could be a machine operator and you could have operated machines since you were 12 years old. But then there might be one machine where it's like, unless you have a piece of paper saying you trained on that machine, you can't use it.
Yeah, I know.
And you're like, but I'm the best guy we have. And they're like, nope, got to put the other guy on who did the 2-hour course. And you're like, all right, excellent. Change that 670 days with no incidents poster down back to 0.
And it really becomes a wink, wink. He's going to be on it.
Yeah.
We're going to pay you the same, but he's going to be on it.
Yeah.
You're going to do it.
Yeah.
And he's going to watch it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the college thing.
I remember real fast this because this is already running long. I remember when my brother graduated college. He went to go to work for Enterprise Rent-A-Car. He considered it like a stepping stone. Like, this is going to be my first real big person job. Before
you got to know what it's like to work.
Yeah, yeah. And I remember him saying that they asked him what he minored in because they don't even talk to people who didn't minor in college. He had a degree in history, and he did minor in political science.
Yeah.
But think about that. Enterprise Rent-A-Car
Yeah.
required not just a degree. You had to have had a minor.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
It's stupid. It's stupid.
That's ridiculous. I feel like there's probably so much untapped talent out there.
Yes.
That's not getting utilized.
Especially because, not to knock my brother, but his degree was in history with a minor in political science. It has nothing to do with cars. It's not like they're saying, we need you to be knowledgeable on this with a subset of this so you can enhance our company. They literally are just saying there's so many people out there who have a degree. We won't even talk to you unless you're up and beyond.
Yeah.
We are Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's stupid.
that's ridiculous.
He also told me stories about how at least one employee would cry there every single day.
That's hilarious.
He said it was a terrible job.
I think if I had to give someone advice going to college, if they have their heart set on going to college, I would tell them to get all the classes that are pedigree first.
Yeah.
I would tell them to do those ones that will all the ones that you have to take in every course. Like no matter what course you're taking, you have to take humanities. You have to take
The gen eds.
The gen eds. You have about a year and a half to 2 years worth of gen eds, right?
Yeah, that's
So-
what I did. And I would also say do it in a community college.
Well, do it wherever you do it. If you have it your mind made up and you can't afford, or logistically because you live in another state, you can't go to a community college. Keep going back and forth. But what that'll give you time to do is figure out more so what you want to do, because so many people like think they want to do something, and it's like as seen on TV. But then like when you find out what it actually entails, you're like, oh, I don't want to do all that. I want to do this part, the fun part.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, that's not the job though, man.
No, I agree with you. And just to add on to that a little bit, while you're taking these pedigree courses, experiment a little bit with things. Like, go talk to job people. I remember I took a 1-credit leadership course, and I remember I had reached out to this insurance company who produced some sort of software. They produce software for insurance companies. And at the time, I was a computer science major. So I was like looking around a little bit. And the leadership course just required you to go interview with anyone who was related to your field. So I went out there. I talked to the guy. They gave me a goodie bag. He showed me their complex. It was amazing. So this is going to seem a little bit disingenuous, but make that shit up. Reach out to a whole bunch of people that you think you might be interested in. Say, I have a 1-credit leadership course. I have to interview, blah, 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 blah. Because they'll get excited and you'll be able to at least step into buildings of things and like get the rundown. What is it like? What do you do? Why do you do it? Like, how is this a good thing?
You know what? You know what's funny? The major that I ended up switching into was a newer. It wasn't as established, and it wasn't. It was a newer major. It was only like 10 years old. It was an engineering degree. Yeah, but the one thing that they were trying to do was they were trying to build their major up, right? Trying to get recognition, trying to basically get more people in there. And one thing that just shows you how easy it is if you have 1 or 2 good people working there. This is the only, I knew this, but I just kind of like realized the importance of it with this conversation. Yeah. This is the only major I ever saw do this. Like actively doing it on their own.
You're killing me. What did they do?
What they would do is, I think twice a semester, or once a semester or twice a semester, what they would do was they would invite people from the industry which the major was in, like the owners, the CEOs, the presidents of all of these major multi-million-dollar companies. And they would go to the school for a dinner, like in the afternoon, like a luncheonette dinner. Yeah. And what would happen is, part of your project was you had to give a presentation on a said material that's industry based in front of everyone. And it takes up about half the dinner. Yeah. And then the second half of the dinner, you just network with those people. It's set up so that these companies can go there and meet people from a freshman all the way to a senior and basically cherry pick who they want for their company. Yeah. Yeah. And I've never seen that done before. And as small as it was, they would have, I would say probably 30 people, like 30 companies or 30 representatives come there. And some people go there looking for salesmen. Some people go there looking for guys to work in labs. Some people need plant managers.
See, like that to me sounds like a really good way to handle it, though.
It is, because that's why everyone got a job.
Yeah, yeah.
And, you know, some guys might not be the best for everything, but that's how they find, like, and part of the major too was you had to have a paid internship for 3 months before you graduated. You couldn't have it anywhere. You had to have it in the industry. And that's where most people got their internship from, which ended up being a job as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But there was no other major that even came close to any of that. They didn't do it. They did nothing like that. But if they increase the price and they do shit like that, okay, you're actually getting me a job.
Yeah, yeah.
But they don't do that.
No,
that's not part of the increase in price.
They don't.
And we come full circle.
We come full circle. All right, guys, let us know in the comments down below if you think college is worth it, or if is it just like a bunch of baloney.
Malarkey.
Also, is BDP gear worth it? You know it is. You can get yours by going to brodownpro.com. We sell a whole bunch of cool stuff t-shirts, hoodies, backpacks, blah, blah, blah. You know the deal. Don't forget to like and subscribe, hit that little bell notification so you can get all of our notifications. Also, you can take us on the road with you. We're available on almost all the podcast apps. You can find us by going to our website and downloading us and doing all that other fun stuff. I don't know. We'll catch you guys next time.
It's a good job.
Thanks.
It's a good job.
You're listening to Bro Down Podcast all fucking day.